Hello and welcome to Japan Today Spotlight, where we take a closer look at the issues shaping Japan today. I'm your host, Jeff Richards, and in this episode, we're talking about something that's hitting everyone right in the wallet: rising prices here in Japan. Recently, a new expression has appeared in the Japanese media: cabbage shock. This refers to the fact that a head of cabbage now costs 3 times as much as when it did this time last year. For anyone wondering, that's about 320 yen. And it's not just the humble cabbage that costs more. For the past 18 months, Japan has been in the grip of inflation, which has seen prices rise for more than 5,500 food and drink items. It's also affected electricity, gas, and various other services. What's behind these increases? How are people coping? And is there any relief in sight? Let's have a look. How bad is inflation? I mean, really, how bad can it be? Pretty bad. It's pretty bad. Government data shows that in January, inflation, including fresh food prices, was up 4% from a year ago. That's a jump from 3.6% in December and 2.9% in November. The price of Japan's all-important rice soared more than 70%, while electricity bills jumped by 18%. Price increases in early 2025 are following the same trend as last year, hitting essentials and everyday household goods like rice, flour, and cooking oil. Research firm Teikoku Databank predicts another 6,000 food items, everything from bread and beer to noodles, will see price hikes again this year. Why are prices so high in Japan right now? Well, there are several reasons for the rising costs. Higher import costs, especially due to the weak yen, increased cost of raw materials and ingredients, rising transportation fees, and climate change affecting crops. Last summer's heat wave didn't help. It really hurt Japan's rice harvest. Panic buying after a mega quake warning in August also drove up prices. Cabbage farmers were hit by extreme weather. Record heat caused dehydration, and heavy rain ruined the quality. As a result, since last October, multiple thefts of thousands of cabbages have been reported in Ibaraki and Aichi prefectures, 2 of the largest cabbage growing areas in Japan. How and where they're being sold, we don't know. I suspect probably off the back of a truck, but police have urged growers to install sensors and security cameras in their fields. We're talking about cabbages here, not jewelry, electronics, or tech. Meanwhile, apple orchards in Aomori, Japan's top apple-producing region, suffered from record snowfall in January. Even prices for favorites like mikan, oranges, probably the most popular everyday winter fruit in Japan, are putting the squeeze on consumers. Those prices are up 20% due to the heat wave and an insect infestation, if there weren't enough to worry about already. And meanwhile, bird flu outbreaks in Japan have created supply shortages for eggs, pushing the price of those up too. With imported food items, the weak yen and spiraling cost of ingredients are the main culprits in this. Here's an example. If you are a chocolate lover in Japan, pay attention. The price of cocoa beans is setting unprecedented records on international commodities markets. In the summer of 2022, it was less than $2,000 a ton. Fast forward to now, and it's hovering around $10,000 a ton. This means, and here's where we bring it home, you are currently paying 20% more for your favorite foreign chocolate treat right now. Other industries are feeling the pressure too. Delivery companies like Sagawa Express and Yamato Transport have raised fees by up to 7% due to driver shortages and higher gasoline prices. So how are people coping? businesses and consumers are adjusting in different ways. Many food and drink companies are shrinking packages and bottle sizes, so-called shrinkflation. Restaurants, meanwhile, are serving smaller portions or switching to cheaper ingredients while charging the same prices. And many people are opting to eat out less and cook at home more. But these strategies have their limits. Last year, Japan saw a record 894 restaurant bankruptcies due to inflation. Some TV news programs now include nightly segments showing which fruit and vegetables are the best bargains to buy for the next day. It's now common to see people following staff around, waiting for discount stickers to be placed on perishable food items. And Japan's famous convenience stores are not quite so convenient anymore, especially for budget-conscious shoppers. Items like coffee and milk are often cheaper at supermarkets. But despite inflation for consumers, convenience stores are thriving, thanks to tourists who like readily consumable snacks and drinks. Sales from Japan's 7 major convenience store chains hit a record 11.8 trillion yen in 2024. That's about 75 billion US dollars. Nothing to sneeze at. And what is the government doing? Prime Minister Shigeru Ishiba has been pushing for wage increases. This is great for large corporations because they're able to raise salaries. But small and medium-sized businesses, where most people in Japan work, struggle to do the same thing. The problem? Wages aren't keeping up with inflation. In 2024, consumer prices outpaced wage growth by 3.2%. To ease the rice shortage, the government has released 20% of the emergency rice stockpile. It's like Japan's Fort Knox for rice. But a new concern has emerged with the return of US President Donald Trump. His plan to impose tariffs of up to 25% on steel and possibly automobiles could really hurt Japan's manufacturing sector. That, in turn, could impact consumer spending. And now, the Shunto spring wage talks between Japanese unions and management are going to be vital this year. Japan's biggest union group, Rengo, or the Japanese Trade Union Confederation, is pushing for a 5% pay rise. The outcomes of these wage negotiations at most major Japanese companies are expected to be reported on March 12th. And that brings us to the all-important question. How are you coping with rising prices? Have you changed your spending habits or your daily routines? I know I have. Let us know in the comments and share this video to spread the word. Perhaps you can bring some advice or some tips. Let everybody else know what you're doing, especially what works, because we all need a helping hand. From the Japan Today newsroom here in Tokyo, I'm Jeff Richards. Sayonara, folks.